Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Siheyuan. Moving out at the beginning, I spread rumors and take off. Upon waking up, Xiangyang realized that he had traveled to a quadrangle of beasts and had been rumored and committed suicide. He was also forced to move out of the quadrangle. Fortunately, Xiangyang awakened the rumor-spreading system. So he retaliated and began to spread rumors crazily. Ding! You spread rumors about Yi Zhonghai and the widow's tattered shoes. You successfully spread rumors and obtained 8 unique skills. Ding! You spread rumors about the deaf old lady and enemy spies. Successfully spread rumors and obtain a mysterious space. Ding! You spread rumors about silly pillar stealing public grain, spread rumors successfully, and obtain gene potion. Beasts force me to move, then I will spread rumors crazily. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. There is a problem with spreading rumors and committing suicide by drinking medicine. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hiss. Accompanied by a severe headache, Xiangyang's already blurred consciousness. At this moment, it is gradually becoming clearer. Beside my ears, there were also mournful cries of the old woman. Oh, my child. You're young, why do you have to think so hard? Now that you're gone, how will Nini and I live in the future? Woo-woo. Grandma, why is Dad still sleeping? I want him to get up and play with me. Wake him up quickly, I want Dad. Just as the old woman was crying, there was also a little girl's milky voice coming from beside her. It seems that she doesn't know what happened yet. What exactly is going on? I encountered an electrician while fishing in the reservoir. Why is there still a daughter and mother emerging? Xiangyang, who was gradually awakening, was also in a fog at the moment. How could he, who has been single since birth, possibly have a daughter? And there is also a strong and pungent smell of pesticides by the bedside. At this moment, a huge memory suddenly flooded into his mind. After a moment, Xiangyang's expression became extremely solemn, and his eyebrows furrowed tightly. He never thought of it. I was fishing in the reservoir and unexpectedly crossed over after encountering an electrician. I still traveled to the world of birds full of 4 courtyards, with a resident of the same name and surname as myself. But what sets it apart from its past life is the mother of the original owner is still alive and has a daughter, Nini. The original owner himself also worked at the Red Star steel rolling plant, where he was a second-level fitter holding an iron rice bowl that everyone envied. It's early 61 years now, and 3 years of natural disasters have just passed. During those 3 years, there were incidents of people starving to death across the country. Even the suburbs of the 4 or 9 cities cannot be avoided. Xiangyang relied on his own work in the steel rolling mill to survive the disaster with his old mother and daughter. I thought that after 3 years of natural disasters, my family's life should become better and better. I didn't expect it. During this period, something happened that dealt a great blow to Xiangyang. His daughter Nini was picked up by him 3 years ago in a field of corn on the outskirts of 49 cities. At that time, Nini was only a few months old. When Xiangyang picked her up, she had already been thrown into the corn field for several days, so hungry that she had no strength to cry. At that time, it was during the 3-year natural disaster period, and almost everyone was starving. Xiangyang knew that if he left Nini in the field of corn and didn't care, Nini's ultimate outcome was either starving to death or being taken away by wolves, tigers, and leopards. Ultimately, Xiangyang couldn't bear it and took her back to the courtyard. During that period, the residents in the courtyard were worrying about food every day. I wish I could take an extra bite myself and have others take less. Seeing Xiangyang bringing a little girl home, many animals were secretly watching jokes. Thinking to himself, at that time, as an apprentice at the steel rolling mill, Li Xiangyang's monthly salary was only the expenses of him and his mother just now. To put it bluntly, I dare not even catch a cold or fever. Because there is no money to go to the pharmacy to buy medicine. Now I suddenly brought back a few months old little girl, and my family has an extra mouth to eat. The whole family will eventually starve to death. Zhang was even present several times in front of Li Xiangyang's mother. It's okay to say he brought a boy back from outside, but unfortunately he brought a girl who lost money back. The whole family will have to be dragged to death by Nini sooner or later. Let Li Xiangyang's mother throw Nini into the well and drown her while she is still young. The result was that my mother scolded me back. Later, Li Xiangyang relied on his outstanding personal abilities, and in just 3 years, he passed the apprenticeship exam and became a second-level fitter. My monthly salary has also increased to 38 yuan, and my family's life is gradually getting better. Just after 3 years of natural disasters, the beasts in the courtyard who were no longer worried about food began to spread rumors in the courtyard. It is said that Nini was a child born to Li Xiangyang who caused other women's stomachs to grow. He has a very serious personal lifestyle issue. Furthermore, it is said that after Li Xiangyang enlarged Nini's mother's belly, he left it unattended, causing Nini's mother to starve to death during those 3 years, which is why he brought Nini back to raise her. Jia and Zhang were secretly instigating Yi Zhonghai, saying that Li Xiangyang had serious lifestyle problems and wanted to be kicked out of the courtyard. We can't let him ruin the reputation in the courtyard. Actually, I just want to occupy the house of Li Xiangyang's family. Due to this incident, Yi Zhonghai took advantage of working in the factory and had a strange attitude towards Li Xiangyang several times. He also said he wants to hold a general meeting of the entire hospital to deal with his lifestyle issues. You should know that people in this era value their reputation very much. As the saying goes, good things never go out, bad things spread far and wide. If a person's reputation is bad, he must be constantly being poked and scolded on his spine every day, and no matter where he goes, someone will point at him. Moreover, Li Xiangyang has just turned 20 and has not yet married a wife. Just being spread rumors by Jia and Zhang, and their beasts, who are messing around with women outside. After hearing about this, whose girl would still be willing to marry him? Not to mention that Yi Zhonghai wanted to hold a general meeting of the entire court, which caused a stir and completely tarnished his reputation. To prove his innocence, Li Xiangyang drank a bottle of pesticide that his family had bought years ago. Choose to express your will through death. By the time his old mother and daughter discovered it, he was no longer capable. That's why the old mother cried so sadly. After learning about the experiences of the original owner, Li Xiangyang secretly clenched his fist. The beasts in the courtyard can actually force a good person to death. It can be seen that they have become insane and ruthless. To what extent? Those beasts will not die. What are they still doing in this world? Nini, be good, your dad is just too tired. Let's let him sleep a little longer, grandma will accompany you to play in the future. At this moment, the mother touched Nini's little head and then hugged her into her arms. Tears kept falling down. She was also trying her best to comfort Nini, afraid that she might notice any abnormality. Li Xiangyang, who had come to his senses, could no longer bear it. Mom, I'm fine. Cough. Hearing his voice, the mother was stunned for a moment. Then he turned his head and glanced at Li Xiangyang lying in bed. Immediately exclaimed emotionally. Xiangyang. My son. You finally woke up. Chapter 2. A bowl of egg soup, the only food. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dad, Dad. Great, you finally don't have to sleep anymore. Now you can play with Nini. Nini stood on the side, also dancing excitedly. Although she is only 4 years old now, seeing her grandmother crying so sadly just now still gives her some understanding. Seeing Li Xiangyang speak again, my heart was very excited. Xiangyang, you just woke up and your body is still very weak. You lie down first and don't move. Mom, go cook something for you to eat. My mother saw Li Xiangyang cough violently twice, and her heart lifted again. Li Xiangyang smiled at his mother and then reached out to touch Nini's little head. Looking at my mother who cares so much about me, and my daughter who is so lovable, I couldn't help but curse inwardly. The original owner is a good person, that's right. But it was because the beasts in the courtyard spread rumors about him and tarnished his reputation that he felt he couldn't survive and had to die to prove his innocence. Then I chose to die by drinking pesticides. Let those rumor-mongering beasts continue to go unpunished and watch their family's jokes. He never even thought that after he died, everything would be over. But his old mother and Nini will be bullied by those beasts in this courtyard full of beasts in the future. This dead person not only has no value at all, even to the extreme of being cowardly. Only a coward would choose to die so easily. If it were him, he must retaliate against those beasts in the courtyard. Let them all repay 10 times, 100 times, and pay the most painful price. The most feasible solution at the moment is to call the police. Let the police arrest all those rumor-mongering beasts. Ding! Detected, the host's anger level exploding, it has reached 100%. The strongest rumor-spreading system has been successfully activated. As long as the host successfully spreads rumors once, they will receive corresponding rewards. We are now distributing a beginner gift pack to the host. Do you need to claim it? Just as Li Xiangyang was planning to go to the police station at the street corner to report to the police, the system's clear warning sound suddenly rang. Li Xiangyang couldn't help but feel a sense of joy in his heart. He, who loved fishing in his past life, also enjoyed reading some travel novels while waiting for the fish to bite the hook. For the golden finger system, it is naturally not unfamiliar. And my own golden finger is actually a rumor-spreading system. This reminded Li Xiangyang of a sentence in his heart. Give back to others in the same way. Since those beasts and animals in the courtyard were created out of nothing, they spread rumors and forced the original owner to death. So now I have the strongest rumor-spreading system. When the time comes, why not force all the animals in the courtyard to death? Even if they have thick skin and don't care about those rumors. I also want them to experience the feeling that life is better than death. Then he silently recited in his heart. Claim. Ding. The beginner's gift pack has been successfully claimed. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a bottle of gene-enhancing potion. Get the 8 Extremes Fist. Get 10 pounds of pork, 10 pounds of white noodles, 10 pounds of millet, and 10 pounds of various vegetable gift packs. Get 100 yuan of money. The crisp prompt sound of the system quickly echoed again. Looking at the reward items in the novice gift package, Li Xiangyang's mouth slightly raised. Although I have traveled here now, the original owner is still very weak because he drank a whole bottle of pesticide. After all, there aren't so many unscrupulous manufacturers selling fake drugs in this era. And the original owner's body has always been relatively weak. It is precisely because of this that Zhang and her other beasts dare to spread rumors recklessly in the courtyard. I am not afraid of Li Xiangyang's retaliation at all. Immediately, with a sudden thought, I used Gene Enhancement Potion. A huge energy spread throughout Li Xiangyang's body in an instant. He could clearly feel that the muscles in his arms and legs were slightly bulging. I feel like my whole body is filled with strength in an instant. The once weak little vegetable chicken that anyone could bully. It seems that at this moment, he has become a true muscle bully. Then, with another mental movement, he began to integrate the 8 Extremes Fist technique. Next second. The various moves of the 8 Extremes Fist were engraved in his mind like murals. Then he got up from the bed and stood on the ground, playing a few 8 Extremes Fists. Dad is great. Dad is so amazing. Nini loves watching Dad fight the most. Nini on the side also clapped and cheered at the first moment. Because Nini was picked up by the original owner from outside, the children in the courtyard often privately say that she is a wild child without a mother, and likes to bully her whenever there is something to do. Every time Nini is bullied outside, the original owner would pretend to play a few sets of martial arts at home. Then tell Nini that if she gets bullied outside in the future, she will go home and tell him, and he will go and help Nini seek revenge. But in fact, the original owner at most talked to others and never really touched them. But in Nini's heart, the original owner is the hero in her world. So now seeing Li Xiangyang practicing the techniques of the 8 Extremes fist makes me so happy. After feeling the changes brought about by the gene-strengthening potion and the 8 Extremes fist, Li Xiangyang's eyes were burning with flames. In his era, there was a saying. Truth is only within the range of a cannon. From now on, he wants to make these beasts in the courtyard understand. What is truth? It's only within the range of a fist's impact. Then he smiled and touched Nini's little head, saying, Nini, be good. If anyone dares to bully you again in the future, Dad will definitely hit him and he won't be able to get up on the ground again. At this point, the mother had already prepared a bowl of egg custard and brought it in. Say. Xiangyang, a few years ago when there was a disaster, our family borrowed a lot of money outside to support Nini. You haven't received your salary this month either. This is the only egg at home now. You should eat it quickly. Eating eggs can provide nutrition and help your body recover quickly. If it's not enough after eating, Mom, go find your uncle again and ask him to borrow 2 eggs. No big deal, we'll give him 4 back then. As the mother spoke, she handed over the egg custard in her hand. However, Li Xiangyang did not reach out to take the bowl of egg custard. Because he knew that there was nothing to eat at home now, and the rice jar had already bottomed out. If I take this bowl of egg custard myself, the old mother and Nini will definitely go hungry. Then he pushed the bowl back and said with a smile, Mom, my body has recovered. Don't believe it, you see. Chapter 3. Seeing the ghost in the daylight, the deaf old lady is afraid of Trembling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Li Xiangyang finished speaking, he immediately demonstrated the 8 Extremes fist technique in front of his old mother. When punching out, one can even clearly feel the air around them, making a loud sound. Every punch is full of vitality. The old mother who had just come from the kitchen didn't know that Li Xiangyang had just performed a boxing move in front of Nini. At this moment, he said with an incredulous expression on his face. Xiangyang, didn't you drink a whole bottle of pesticide? How did this body recover so quickly? How do I feel that you look much more energetic now than before? Upon hearing these words, Li Xiangyang smiled. Immediately fabricated a reason. Mom, that bottle of pesticide was bought by our family several years ago when we were farming outside Dongzaimen. After so many years, the medicinal effect has long been gone. So I drank a whole bottle of pesticide and just slept. It's nothing serious, you don't have to worry about me in your heart. I even feel more energetic now than before. In order not to make his mother worry, Li Xiangyang bounced around in front of his mother a few more times, saying that his body was really fine. Seeing this situation, 2 lines of tears flowed down the corner of the old mother's eyes again. Continuously speaking. It's okay, it's okay. Hurry up and eat this bowl of egg custard. In the future, those people in the courtyard, no matter what they say, we just ignore them. Just close the door and live our family's life well. As she spoke, her mother handed Li Xiangyang the egg custard again. At this moment, Nini stood next to her, staring blankly at the bowl of egg custard. She had not eaten anything for a whole day and was also very hungry at this time. But she is very sensible. I know that bowl of egg custard was made by my grandmother to nourish my father's health. Even if my stomach is hungry, I endure not saying it. The look and reaction of Nini wanting to eat eggs were captured by Li Xiangyang. Just thinking that the original owner was already a second-level worker in the steel rolling mill, earning a monthly salary of 38 yuan, the life at home was still so difficult after being harmed by those beasts. I couldn't help but feel a surge of anger in my heart. Immediately said to the old mother, "Mom, I'm really okay now. You and Nini should eat this bowl of egg custard. I'll go out and do something, and I'll be back soon." After speaking, Xiangyang didn't wait for his mother to ask more questions and turned around and went out. What he wants to do outside is to report to the police station at the street corner. He won't let go of any of the beasts that spread rumors and forced the original owner to death. When he came out of the house, he happened to bump into Jia Dongxu, who had come out of the Jia family. When the latter saw him, it was as if he had seen a ghost in broad daylight. In a hurry, he turned around and returned to the room, slamming the door shut. Xiangyang chose to ignore him directly. Quickly walked towards the police station outside. "Dongxu, didn't we ask you to go out and see if that little animal Xiangyang is alive or dead? Why did you run back as soon as you left? Why are you trembling all over? Is it possible that you're seeing ghosts in broad daylight?" Zhang, who was full of pride at home, ran back in a panic when he saw Jia Dongxu leaving. Immediately approached and asked with concern. At this moment, Jia Dongxu suddenly grabbed Zhang's hand and exclaimed in shock. "Mom, I might have really seen ghosts in broad daylight. Just now. I saw Xiangyang walking out of their house well. But when he saw me, he didn't react at all. You said, shouldn't it be Yan Wangye who came to take away his soul?" Upon hearing these words, Zhang's facial features instantly twisted into a ball. My heart also jumped up with a thud. When she was in the yard just now, she heard Xiangyang's mother crying in the house from a distance, saying that Xiangyang had drunk pesticide and was no longer alive. At that time, she originally wanted to see if Xiangyang really died. But I dare not go. Because she knew in her heart that Xiangyang was forced to death by the rumors she spread. But Xiangyang's death is a great good thing for their family. At that time, Jia only had an old lady and a 4-year-old girl left. She, Zhang, has a way to drive them out of the courtyard. Since then, the Li family's entire courtyard has the best orientation and the largest house, which belongs to their Jia family. Even she had already planned it in her mind. When Bang Jenner grows up in the future, he will use that house as his wedding house. But now, Jia Dongxu said he saw Xiangyang walk out of their house well. Zhang is a person who definitely doesn't believe in ghosts and gods. Because if there were really ghosts, Jia Laokai wouldn't even know how many times she had summoned him. So he asked with a serious expression. "Dongxu, did you really see Xiangyang walk out of their house? Are you sure you didn't get dizzy and misread? Mom, your son is not yet 30 years old this year, how could he be dizzy? I really saw Xiangyang walk out of his house." Jia Dongxu said with great certainty. Zhang's eyebrows sank and he immediately began to curse. "I can't believe that dog like Xiangyang is really lucky. Surprisingly, not even a bottle of pesticide poisoned him to death. If that dog didn't die, it might be a bit difficult for us to want their house. If I had known, I should have bought a pack of rat medicine and put it at their house. I also plan to use their house as my grandson's wedding home. After getting the house over, why can't we let it go for a few years to get rid of bad luck? We must kill that little beast Xiangyang as soon as possible." At this moment, on the other side. Backyard, home of a deaf old lady. When Xiangyang came out of the room just now, the deaf old lady happened to come from the backyard and planned to go to Yi Zhonghai's house to make a bowl of minced meat and braised noodles for himself to celebrate. It was found that Xiangyang was not dead. She was frightened and a lame old lady suddenly ran back home briskly as she walked. Then with a bang, the door closed. I thought Xiangyang came back to ask for her life. Because of spreading rumors that Li Xiangyang is causing trouble outside and has a problematic lifestyle, it is she who is behind the scenes giving advice to Jia and Zhang. I want to use Jia Zhang's hand to kill Li Xiangyang. As for the reason. Of course, Li Xiangyang has never recognized her as the ancestor in this courtyard. I have suspected several times that there is a problem with her identity as a member of the Five Guarantees household. So she had a murderous heart towards Li Xiangyang. After closing the door at home, the deaf old lady also came to her senses. Immediately burst into a fierce curse. Isn't that little beast Li Xiangyang still alive and well? Why hasn't he died yet? Chapter 4. Counterattack. The first shot of spreading rumors, deaf old lady is. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the deaf old lady cursed twice at home, her eyes also became extremely vicious. In this courtyard, she is the heavens. She absolutely cannot allow anyone to question her identity and show disrespect towards her. Li Xiangyang poured cold water on her ancestor's face time and time again, making her stand in front of the residents in the courtyard in public several times. If she doesn't give Li Xiangyang some strength and let him suffer a bit to know her strength, who will be afraid of her in this courtyard in the future? But she didn't expect it. After instigating Jia Zhang to spread rumors and forcing Li Xiangyang to commit suicide by drinking pesticides, he actually came back to life. That damn thing counts as his fortune. It seems that we have come up with a unique way to rectify him. At this moment, Lao Daoku Police Station. Police officer, I want to report to the police. Someone in our hospital spread rumors about me, saying that I was messing around with other women outside. It has already had a significant impact on my life. After Li Xiangyang arrived at the police station, a young police officer received him. I learned that he came to the police station to report to the police because someone had spread rumors about him. The young police officer's face was clearly not as enthusiastic as before. While making a simple registration in the register, he asked. Are you sure someone spread rumors about you? Do you know who the rumormonger is? Who is the first person to gossip about you behind your back? Why do those people gossip about you? Faced with the young police officer's inquiry, Li Xiangyang thought for a moment. I am very certain that someone has spread rumors about me because there have been many incidents in our family recently. But I'm not quite sure who the rumormonger is yet. Because the people in our courtyard are basically spreading rumors about me privately. So, after a brief inquiry, the young police officer said without looking up. All right, I have registered your situation. Our police will investigate this matter. Of course, if you know who is the first to spread your rumor behind the scenes, you can also notify us in a timely manner. This will facilitate us to solve the case as soon as possible. If there's nothing else, you can go back and wait for the news. After speaking, the police officer threw the book that registered the case aside. Then he took a document and went to the nearby office. Seeing this situation, Li Xiangyang had intended to say something. The words reached my lips, but in the end, I held them back. After all, in this era, catching spies, murderers, and robbers is the top priority. Spreading rumors is a bit of a waste of police force. It seems that we have to rely on ourselves to catch all the animals that spread rumors about us in the courtyard. However, who was the first person to spread rumors about being promiscuous with women outside? After leaving the Lao Daoku police station, Li Xiangyang went to a nearby vegetable market. I bought some meat and vegetables to go home with the 100 yuan reward from the system beginner gift package. By the way, I took out the white noodles and xiaomi that were rewarded by the system. Let's walk together towards the direction of number 95 courtyard in Nanluoga Lane. At the same time, in my heart, I used the memories of the original owner to carefully sort out the attitudes of the beasts in the courtyard towards my home. Attempt to identify the initiator of the rumor from various clues. However, Li Xiangyang analyzed all the beasts in the courtyard and thought that anyone could be the initiator of that rumor. After all, the 4 courtyards full of birds is not something to casually talk about. Every beast in that courtyard has their disgusting and repulsive side. Of course, they all have some conflicts with the original owner's family to some extent. After much thought, Xiangyang suddenly sneered. Humph, whoever is behind the scenes is the first to spread rumors. The deaf old lady and Yi Zhonghai, these 2 beasts, must not be able to escape. After speaking, a hint of coldness flashed in Xiangyang's eyes immediately. The reason why he said that. It is because of his understanding of the 4 courtyards full of birds, that the deaf old lady has always regarded herself as an ancestor, and no one in the courtyard is afraid of her. Yi Zhonghai, on the other hand, is an elder in the courtyard. Anything in the courtyard at number 95 Nanluoga Lane cannot be done without their agreement and nodding heads. That is to say, the rumor that he was messing around with women outside and had a problematic lifestyle was at least approved by one of them. Only then did it spread in the courtyard. Otherwise, the deaf old lady and Yi Zhonghai, who are morally upright and often like to hold a general meeting of the entire hospital, will be the local emperors who value resolving matters within the hospital. Will someone be allowed to damage the reputation of the entire courtyard? After Xiangyang thought about it, it seems that the whole thing has become clear. At the same time, it also targets the deaf old lady. Because in the original owner's memory, when he picked up Nini from the corn fields 3 years ago, he was still an apprentice at a steel rolling mill with low monthly wages. It was also during the 3-year natural disaster period, and the residents of the courtyard had basically no food to eat. Nini is only a few months old, and there is no milk for her to eat. Every 2 or 3 hours, she cries when hungry. Nini can't even eat the brown rice, grass roots, and bark that adults eat. In the end, Xiangyang had no choice but to borrow money from Yi Zhonghai and go to the department store to buy milk powder for Nini to eat. It is precisely because I borrowed money from Yi Zhonghai. That's why the original owners are already second-level fitters, earning a monthly salary of 38 yuan, and their families are still living in such poverty. After all, that's an easy-skinned person who borrowed 2 eggs and had to pay back 4 of them. He definitely doesn't want anyone to spread rumors behind his back and directly force the original owner to death. So, the only person who could possibly instigate or even be the initiator behind the scenes, it can only be a deaf old lady. After sorting out these things, Xiangyang furrowed his brows and then silently recited in his heart. System. I want to spread rumors. The deaf old lady is an enemy spy. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully spreading rumors. Rumors are spreading. The rumor has entered a cooling-off period. The clear prompt sound of the system quickly sounded. The advantage of the strongest rumor spreading system is that all rumors can be disseminated through commands. Then the system automatically propagates it. There is no need for Xiangyang to personally spread the rumors. In this way, even those beasts in the courtyard want to report to the police. The police can't even trace their own head. Xiangyang grinned at the corner of his mouth. Now, just let the bullet fly for a while. I don't know how the deaf old lady would react when she found out she was an enemy spy. The 3 masters of calculation in Chapter 5 must have stolen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiangyang quickly returned to Courtyard 95, Nanluoga Lane, holding the meat and vegetables in his hand. Zhang, who has been cursing and cursing why Xiangyang did not die. Lying behind the crack in the door, when Xiangyang saw so much meat and vegetables in the net bag he was holding, his eyes turned green. A pair of ghostly hanging eyes rolled upwards, revealing a creepy and terrifying whiteness. Start cursing directly. Xiangyang, that little beast, actually didn't die after drinking a bottle of pesticide. I see that bitch Chen Hohot was just pretending to cry at home. But where did that beast get the money from? He actually bought a lot of meat and vegetables to go home. The pork fat in his net pocket, if used to refine lard, would be enough for our family to eat for a month. That damn thing. He's dead, isn't that pork and money from our family? Jia Zhang cursed while sticking out her tongue to lick her lips. When I think of the white and plump pork in Li Xiangyang's net pocket, my mouth water involuntarily flows out. His eyes were filled with malice, resentful that Li Xiangyang had not been poisoned to death by pesticides. At this moment, Bang Jenner heard that Li Xiangyang had brought a lot of fatty pork home. Teng quickly stood up from the stool. Arriving at Jia Zhang's side, he pulled at her clothes and shouted. "Grandma, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I want to eat meat now. We're going to eat the fat that Li Xiangyang brought home. I haven't had any fatty meat for a long time, and I'm almost forgetting what it tastes like. I want to eat meat." Seeing my grandson crying and wanting to eat meat at this moment, Jia Zhang swallowed his saliva fiercely. He gave Li Xiangyang's family a malicious glance and then said, "Be good, Grandma knows you want to eat meat. Grandma also wants to eat fatty meat. Don't worry, I'll go to Li Xiangyang's house for you soon. Grandma promised my grandson to have meat tonight." Jia Dongxu stood aside and glanced coldly at the direction of the Li family. Said coldly, "When I went out just now, that dog like Li Xiangyang scared me a lot. If their family doesn't bleed tonight, as compensation for me, see how I clean up that useless waste. At that time, I will snatch all the meat he bought back and not leave any meat stars for him." After speaking, a strange fox smile appeared on Jia Dongxu's face. In this courtyard, the original owner was bullied by the beasts in the courtyard because he was too kind and upright in his behavior. In the steel rolling mill, Jia Dongxu and he are both fitters in the first workshop. However, Jia Dongxu is Yi Zhonghai's disciple. With this level of identity, I often give orders to the original owner in the workshop, always handing over some dirty and tiring work to the original owner. Every time, the original owner chose to swallow his pride. Because if there is a conflict between him and Jia Dongxu, as a level 8 fitter and the leader of the first workshop fitter, Yi Zhonghai, I will definitely not help him speak. If you get disciplinary action from the factory, have your salary deducted, or even get fired due to a fight. He and his elderly mother may only have to drink from the west and north. Not to mention that after picking up Nini later, there were everywhere in the house where money was needed. He is even more afraid to cause trouble in the factory. Faced with Jia Dongxu's bullying, he is willing to hide as much as he can. If we can't avoid it, we can only be obedient. It is precisely because of his personality that Jia Dongxu and Hiyuzhu, along with their livestock, have caused him to stumble in the steel rolling mill. Even that cowardly waste of Su Dumao dares to shout in front of him. So, Jia Dongxu only dares to say such words now. If Jia Zhang doesn't come to the door and can't get any meat, he has a way to make Li Xiangyang obediently deliver the meat. "Dad, Grandma, what you said earlier was yours. If I can't eat meat tonight, I won't recognize you two anymore." At this moment, Bang Jenner raised her small head and pouted, saying, "In order to eat meat." He often threatens Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxu in this way. Sometimes even if I haven't eaten any meat, I would curse at them both. However, Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxu have never been angry. Because stick memes are their heartstrings. It's too late to love, how could you be willing to beat and curse? Jia Zhang immediately spoke repeatedly. "Okay, good grandson. Grandma will definitely make you eat meat tonight." At this moment, in the front yard, Yan Bugue stood in front of his own house, looking displeased in the direction of the courtyard. Just now when Li Xiangyang came back from outside carrying meat and vegetables, he happened to be tending to his flowers and plants at the door. Seeing Li Xiangyang bringing back so many good things, his first reaction was to start calculating in his heart. As the most calculating person in this courtyard, whether it's big furniture and appliances or small needle and needle, Yan Bugue has always implemented his 13-character motto. You can't be poor in food, you can't be poor in clothing, and if you can't calculate, you'll be poor. In the courtyard, I have even maximized my ability to pluck feathers from wild geese. If anyone in the courtyard buys meat, as long as he meets at the entrance of the front yard, he will definitely come forward and chat aimlessly, and then take the opportunity to hold the piece of meat in his hand and touch it well. The purpose of doing this is to make his hands covered in oil. After returning home, wash with water and the whole family can have a meal with oil and water. He has tried this method repeatedly. The residents in the courtyard, due to his identity as the third uncle, were unable to say anything. But just now, when he was about to come forward and say hello to Li Xiangyang, he took the opportunity to take advantage of it. Li Xiangyang chose to ignore him directly. He didn't even touch the meat in his net pocket. There are 100 unhappy moments in my heart now, and I can't help but mutter to myself. No, Li Xiangyang's family is so poor. Where did he get the money to buy so much meat and vegetables back? Isn't it that kid who stole it from outside? After speaking, Yan Bugui's gaze also became profound. Although he is an elementary school teacher, I always like to talk about being a role model. But when he was in the courtyard, he hardly ever spoke well of Li Xiangyang. As for the reason, it's still because of calculation. Now, after such an analysis, it seems that I have already agreed in my heart that the meat and vegetables brought back by Li Xiangyang were all stolen by him from outside. This is a big deal. He needs to do a good calculation in his heart. Chapter 6. The humble mother, Jia and Zhang come to ask for meat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, Li Xiangyang returned home with the meat and vegetables he had bought. The old mother Chen Hohat and daughter Nini immediately gathered together. Xiangyang, what were you doing outside just now? You just woke up when your body was weak. The weather outside is so cold again. After you went out, my heart has been constantly restless. I'm afraid you can't take it seriously. Go outside. My mother approached Li Xiangyang and, without saying a word, began to sob softly again. The incident of the original owner drinking pesticide to commit suicide can be considered as frightening enough for her. After all, I am just this one son. If there were any ups and downs, she would basically not live. Just now when Li Xiangyang said he needed to go out for a while, my mother didn't expect him to go out and look for opportunities. By the time she realized and chased after him, Li Xiangyang had already disappeared. Nini is still young, and she doesn't trust leaving her alone at home to search. So I have been anxiously praying in my heart that Li Xiangyang can come back safely. Now that Li Xiangyang has returned well, the old mother's emotions can't be held back for a moment. Dad, when you went out just now, Grandma kept muttering your name. You promised Nini that no matter where you go in the future, you would take your grandmother and Nini with you, okay? Nini and Grandma don't want to be separated from Dad. Nini is afraid. At this moment, Nini suddenly took the initiative to grab Li Xiangyang's hand. Lifting his head, he looked at him with a milky voice and said, "Looking at such a well-behaved and lovely daughter." At that moment, Li Xiangyang's heart melted. At the same time, I caught a glimpse of the bowl of egg custard from the corner of my eye, which was still well placed there. Mother and Nini did not eat. Then he crouched down and picked up Nini from the ground. "Nini, don't worry, Dad promised you. Dad won't do anything that worries Nini and Grandma anymore in the future. And no matter where Dad goes in the future, he will always take Grandma and Nini with him." After speaking, Li Xiangyang also smiled at his old mother. In his previous life, his parents passed away early and he basically did not show much filial piety to his mother. In this life, since my mother is still alive, then I need to do my son's job well and not let her worry about me anymore. Nini also happily gave him a kiss on the face. Then I hugged his neck. Nini wants to be with her father forever. It wasn't until then that my mother saw the net bag brought back by Li Xiangyang. When I saw the meat and vegetables in the net pocket, my expression was clearly taken aback. Immediately, a hint of nervousness flashed across his face. Xiangyang, where did you get these meat and vegetables back from? Our family's life is now a bit poor. I can lend you an old man's money, and it will be paid off this month. When you receive your salary next month, our family's life will be easier. You. Mom, these are all things I bought with money. I know, it's not right for me to secretly hide some private money from you. But I was thinking that if there was an urgent need at home, I would have some money in hand. Don't worry, your son will never do anything sneaky. Before the old mother could finish speaking, Li Xiangyang interrupted her with a smile. And fabricated a very suitable reason. Anyway, that 100 yuan was given by the system, and even if someone checks, they can still find a reasonable and legal source. Hear this. The old mother gave him a deep glance. The heart that was just lifted was finally let go. She knew that the original owner was a kind and obedient child, and it was absolutely impossible for him to do anything sneaky. Seeing the old mother let go, Li Xiangyang immediately smiled and said, Mom, I noticed that neither you nor Nini ate the bowl of egg custard you just made. You two have been hungry all day, you must have been starving long ago. Let's cook first. Let's wait until we're full before we talk about anything else. At this moment, within the 49 cities, a passerby and his friend stood by the roadside, chatting about the rumors they had just heard. I heard that there is a spy lurking from the fruit party, right outside our front door. It's said to be an old lady. Do you know who that person is? Upon hearing these words, the expression of the person next to him immediately became cautious. After looking around for a moment, whispered, I've heard about this too. It's said that the old lady is still deaf. It was during the early years when the fruit party retreated from the mainland and lurked down. I've done a lot of outrageous things over the years. What deaf person? She deliberately pretended to be deaf to cover up her identity as a spy. Actually, she's not deaf at all. I think the two of us should be careful. If she hears us discussing her words now, maybe it will cause trouble for both of us. The passerby lowered his voice again and said. At this moment, some pedestrians passing by actually heard what they were saying. Everyone's face showed a look of worry and fear. After all, those crazy spies are demons who kill without blinking their eyes. For a moment, rumors spread throughout the 49 cities. The deaf old lady is a spy's business and has gradually been known by more and more people. Just as the rumors began to ferment, the Jia family lives across from Li Xiangyang's house. At this moment, smelling the delicious aroma wafting from the opposite door, my mouth was already watering with envy. Grandma! You smell how fragrant the meat made by Li Xiangyang's family is. Didn't you say I must have some meat tonight? I'm so hungry now, go get me some meat and come back to eat. I'm almost starving to death. You go quickly, Grandma. Bang Jenner grabbed Jia Zhang's clothes and began to cry incessantly. Since I saw Li Xiangyang bringing back so much meat and vegetables, he kept thinking in his mind about what dishes to eat tonight. Is it braised pork belly or dompa braised pork? Or sit on a plate of his favorite twice-cooked pork? As a result, when Li Xiangyang's family started cooking, they didn't see Jia Zhang coming to ask for meat. I am also a bit anxious in my heart. At this moment, Jia Zhang's eyebrows sank, staring maliciously in the direction of the door. I didn't expect Li Xiangyang, who was killed by heaven, to start cooking meat and vegetables at home before it even got dark. I'm still thinking to myself, I'll go to the door and ask him for it when it gets dark. That's okay, I'll just go and bring back the meat and vegetables he made at home. It saves me a lot of trouble. Good grandson, please wait. Grandma, I'll go get you some meat and vegetables to come back and eat. Chapter 7. Kick Jia Dongxu. Beat up the Jia family mother and son. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Zhang cursed maliciously for a few words, he immediately went out and walked towards Li Xiangyang's house. Bang Jenner and Jia Dongxu were lying in front of the window with an expectant expression on their faces. At the moment, Li Weidong has prepared 2 home-made dishes and steamed a pot of big white flour mantou. Nini sat in front of the table, looking at the delicious food and big white flour mantou on the table. I swallowed my saliva secretly twice. She can't remember the last time she smelled such delicious meat, or when she ate big white flour mantou. But she is very sensible. Knowing that grandma and dad haven't been at the table yet. Even if you crave and want to eat again, never use chopsticks first. At this moment, there was a rapid knocking on the door outside the house. Dong dong. Li Xiangyang. Open the door. I'm your Aunt Zhang. Li Xiangyang, who was making the last twice-cooked pork, heard Jia Zhang's quick and sharp slap on the door, his eyebrows darkened. He knew that the old devout woman would come knocking on her door at this moment, and it wouldn't be a good thing. Just when I was about to ask my old mother and Nini not to go out. The old mother has already opened the door. Speak in a polite tone. Miss Zhang, our family's Xiangyang is cooking. What are you asking him for? Upon hearing these words, Jia Zhang's short and chubby body limited her vision. So he tiptoed and glanced into the room. The nose, even more agile than a dog, immediately smelled the dish that Li Xiangyang is making now. It's her great-grandson Bang Gainer's favorite twice-cooked pork. I swallowed my saliva greedily. Chen Hohat, both of us live in the courtyard and can be considered neighbors to some extent. If I'm not mistaken, our courtyard hasn't had anyone cooking meat and vegetables at home for several days. The meat aroma of your cooking has drifted to our house now. Our family's gluttonous memes can't even eat food. They keep clamoring to eat meat. Your family is responsible for this matter no matter what, right? Hurry up and give me a bowl of twice-cooked pork you are cooking in your pot. I want to take it back for my grandson to eat. Jia Zhang immediately spoke in a commanding tone. Because the father of the original owner died earlier than Jia Laokai, the devout woman of the Jia Zhang family has been bullying the mother of the original owner in recent years. And the mother of the original owner is the kind of person with a relatively gentle personality, who does not easily blush with others. So he was constantly ostracized and bullied by the Jia and Zhang families in the courtyard. If it weren't for some fear towards Li Xiangyang, this son, Jia Zhang had already driven the mother of the original owner out of this courtyard and occupied their house. So now when the original mother speaks in front of her, she also has a proud and commanding tone. I didn't feel at all that it was shameless for her to come to the Li family to ask for meat and vegetables. I wouldn't even feel a blush. Zhang, those meat and vegetables were bought by Xiangyang from outside. We don't have many at home either. But since it's a meme that you want to eat, you can bring some back. In these days and years, we all have a difficult time together. But whoever suffers, we cannot suffer the child. You wait, I'll go and serve you a bowl of twice-cooked pork now. My mother nodded obediently in front of Jia Zhang and agreed. Actually, she knows very well in her heart. The rumors about Li Xiangyang's promiscuity with women and problematic lifestyle in the courtyard are mostly caused by Jia Zhang's instigation behind the scenes. But after living in the courtyard for so many years, she knew that with the strength of her family alone, she could not confront the Jia and Zhang families. Many times, she behaved obediently in front of the beasts in the courtyard. It's just for Li Xiangyang's future and Nini's consideration. It's not because I'm really afraid of those beasts. If she refuses to give Jia Zhang's meat and vegetables now, I don't know what kind of cunning move that old devout woman will use again. If Li Xiangyang chooses to commit suicide again due to excessive psychological pressure, then so she can only endure it time and time again. Mom, we don't even have enough meat and vegetables at home. There's no extra to give to others. At this moment, Li Xiangyang went straight to his mother and stopped her. At the same time, he gave Zhang a teasing glance. The latter saw that he refused to give himself meat and vegetables, and immediately cursed loudly. Li Xiangyang. You little beast who was killed by heaven. Our family's meme is still a child. What's wrong with him wanting to eat a few bites of your family's meat? I've seen so many meat and vegetables. You actually said that those meat and vegetables are not enough for you to eat on your own. What's wrong? Your family is all pigs. Eating so much meat and vegetables is not afraid of choking you all. If you eat it, you won't be afraid of rotten assholes. I'll tell you. Pop. Just as Zhang was cursing with one hand on her hips, Li Xiangyang suddenly took a swift step forward and slapped her hard in the face. The palm was strong and heavy, causing the fat on Zhang's face to tremble uncontrollably. Immediately after, a hot and piercing pain penetrated the heart and lungs. Li Xiangyang, you little one. Pop pop pop. Old thing, I'll make you curse again. Bang. Just as Zhang was about to curse again, Li Xiangyang directly gave her a grand slam. After slapping her hard in the face, he kicked her out of the door and flew her several meters away. Zhang fell heavily to the ground and immediately began to howl. Oh my! I killed someone. Li Xiangyang is going to kill. Come and help me. Oh, it hurts me so much. At this moment, Jia Dongxu, who was dreaming of eating meat at home, suddenly heard the mournful cries of Zhang. The expression on his face immediately tightened. Tang quickly rushed out of home. When I saw that Zhang's entire face had swollen into a pig's head, with bruises and reds on it, and some messy finger marks, Jia Dongxu just exploded. Mom, who hit you? See if I don't kill him today. Dongxu, it's all that little beastly Xiangyang who fought. You're going to avenge Mom. Zhang cried out and said. Upon hearing these words, Jia Dongxu stared fiercely at Li Xiangyang. I pinched my fist directly and made a crisp sound. Li Xiangyang. You dog smashed it. Drinking pesticides didn't kill you. I'll beat you to death today. After speaking, he clenched his fist and swung towards Li Xiangyang. The latter's gaze sank, staring at Jia Dongxu's next three routes with both eyes. Just as he was about to rush towards him, Li Xiangyang took the opportunity to lower and kicked Jia Dongxu hard between his legs. Immediately after the scene, a mournful scream rang out. Ah! My bird! Chapter 8. Jia Dongxu spits blood, Yi Zhonghai's elderly care plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After being kicked by Li Xiangyang, Jia Dongxu covered his crotch and bounced back and forth in place, his facial features completely twisted together. My bird. It hurts me so much. It hurts. At this moment, Zhang, who had just been kicked to the ground, got up disheveled. Hurry up to Jia Dongxu. Asked anxiously. Dongxu, where did that little beast kick just now? I won't kick your cow away, will I? If your cattle are gone, how will you continue to pass on the family line to our family in the future? Let Mom take a look quickly. As Zhang spoke, he was about to undo Jia Dongxu's pants and check his injuries. Jia Dongxu is also almost 30 years old after all. How could Zhang be allowed to look at his own place casually? Directly pushed Zhang away. Watching Li Xiangyang speak fiercely. Little beast, wait for me. I won't kill you today. You raised me when I stepped on a horse. After speaking, Jia Dongxu covered his crotch with one hand and ran back to his home. At this moment, the old mother and Nini also ran out of the room. When Zhang came to ask for meat just now, the old mother had already thought about it. It's better to do less than to do more. Just give her some meat and vegetables. But she never thought of it. Li Xiangyang unexpectedly slapped Zhang's face without any warning. That slap not only confused Zhang, but also confused her. You should know that Xiangyang was raised by her and has never had much fighting with others since childhood. Just now when Xiangyang started hitting Jia Dongxu and Jia Dongxu, she even thought she had hallucinations. I always feel that the person in front of me doesn't seem like my own son. Xiangyang, you just started hitting Zhang and Jia Dongxu. They will definitely not give up easily. Why don't you go out and hide first? I will come up with a solution for the affairs in the courtyard. As the old mother spoke, she pushed Xiangyang towards the outside of the yard. I want him to go out and hide for a while first. Because Jia Dongxu appears to have clear eyebrows and beautiful eyes on the surface, but in reality, he has a dark and spicy heart. Now he hasn't died in an accident, even the war god Yi Zhonghai in the courtyard has to nod and bow in front of him. Just now Jia Dongxu threatened to kill Xiangyang, which really scared the old mother. She doesn't want to be too old and end up being a white-haired person to a black-haired person. Xiangyang. Today, I'll chop off your lifeline for you and feed it to the dog. And then I'll kill you, damn it. At this moment, Jia Dongxu took a kitchen knife from the Jia family and rushed straight towards Xiangyang. The old mother suddenly panicked and pushed Xiangyang to quickly let him go out and hide. Nini also tugged at Xiangyang's hem and said, "Dad, Uncle Dongxu is really fierce. You should go out and hide quickly." Nini listens to her grandmother at home. See this situation. Xiangyang's gaze turned cold and he said directly, "Mom, don't be afraid. Take Nini and stand aside first. Before, our family suffered a lot of bullying in this courtyard. Now I want to show those who have bullied our family before. I, Xiangyang, am not that easy to deal with." After speaking, his gaze cast a sinister glare at Jia Dongxu. At that moment, Jia Dongxu, who was originally holding a kitchen knife and exuding a fierce aura. I suddenly felt a panic in my heart for no reason. From Xiangyang's gaze, he seemed to see a genuine killing intent. But he hasn't reacted yet. Xiangyang appeared before his eyes like lightning. Then my eyes darkened. A powerful and heavy fist hit his face. One punch, two punches. Jia Dongxu only felt that his head had been beaten into a paste, and his entire body had become very light. Bang! When he fell heavily to the ground, his body immediately felt no pain. Seeing Xiangyang standing not far in front of him, his gaze was now cold and stern as he looked at him. He picked up the kitchen knife that had fallen to the side again. But at this moment, a severe pain suddenly came from the chest and abdomen. Puff! A mouthful of fresh blood sprayed out directly. Zhang was frightened and screamed loudly beside her. "Ah! Dongxu, my son. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You vomited so much blood." "Oh my dear," Zhang let out a pig-like roar while running towards Jia Dongxu. It wasn't until then that I realized. Jia Dongxu's face had already been bruised by Xiangyang's beating, and the bridge of his face and nose had been broken. I can't find a good spot on my entire face. The kick that Xiangyang kicked away just now directly broke several of his ribs. Ah! Oh, my child. Not good, Xiangyang killed someone. Come and help me. Seeing Jia Dongxu's miserable situation at the moment, Zhang, who had just been beaten, immediately shouted. The old mother looked dumbfounded on the side. She never thought that Xiangyang's skills would suddenly become so powerful. Before that, but now, the old mother doesn't have time to think much. She knew that Xiangyang had beaten Jia Dongxu like that now, and this matter must not be minor today. Maybe the police will be alarmed by then. Immediately pulled Xiangyang's arm and said, "Xiangyang, you are really causing trouble now. What kind of person is Jia Dongxu? He is your uncle's disciple who closes the door. If you beat him up like that, your uncle won't let you go. Listen to the damn thing, hurry up and leave. Go out and hide. Dad is great. Dad plays well. Grandma, I think Dad did the right thing. It's Jia Dongxu who just wanted to kill his father with a knife. We don't have to be afraid. Unlike her mother's worries and fears, little Nini applauded for Li Xiangyang at this moment. In her eyes as a child, I have understood what good and evil are. Seeing this, Li Xiangyang crouched down and touched Nini's little head. Then he looked at the old mother and said, Mom, don't worry. From now on, in this courtyard, no one dares to bully us anymore. If there is, then Jia Dongxu will be their fate. At this moment, a dull middle-aged man's voice rang out. Old sister.in.law. What happened? What's wrong with Dongxu? What's going on here? Who beat Dongxu up like this? Does he still see me as an old man in the courtyard? Yi Zhonghai ran out of the room wearing a cotton jacket and glanced at Jia Dongxu lying on the ground. Suddenly, his eyebrows sank, and then his gaze turned sinister towards Li Xiangyang. Chapter 9. Angry Draw Yi Zhonghai, blaming silly Zhu as a dog. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. He's an old man. Dongxu was beaten like this by Li Xiangyang. Dongxu is your disciple. He has been beaten by Li Xiangyang and his face is covered in blood. You can't ignore him. We must make Li Xiangyang, that bastard, pay the price. Jia Zhang eagerly began to testify against Li Xiangyang. I want to use Yi Zhonghai's identity as a master in the courtyard to deal with Li Xiangyang. At this moment, Yi Zhonghai looked at Li Xiangyang's gaze and had already burst out with anger. He has been married to an elderly woman for many years and has never had children. I have been calculating for a long time, hoping to find someone to care for him in the future. And Jia Dongxu is the first elderly care candidate he has identified in the courtyard. When I was in the steel rolling mill, I also took good care of him. To put it bluntly, in the eyes of Yi Zhonghai, Jia Dongxu is no different from his own son. Now Li Xiangyang has beaten Jia Dongxu to a bloody mess and vomited so much blood. If anything happens to Jia Dongxu, who will provide him with retirement in the future? Immediately, his gaze sank. Blaming loudly. Li Xiangyang. I see that you are becoming increasingly lawless now. Surprisingly, he dares to hit people in the yard. Who gave you the courage? Look at you beating Dongxu. Do you know how big a mistake you made this time? I don't think you want to stay in this courtyard anymore, do you? Yi Zhonghai criticized while trying to use this opportunity to drive Li Xiangyang out of the courtyard. This was something he and Jia Zhang had already discussed privately. The original plan was to hold a general meeting of the entire hospital and use Li Xiangyang's problematic lifestyle to write an article. It's good now, Li Xiangyang started hitting Jia Dongxu and even dealt him such a miserable blow. For an old fox like Yi Zhonghai, he will definitely not miss such a good opportunity. You're right. Li Xiangyang, this little beast, not only fools around with women outside, but also has an unhealthy lifestyle. Now he's still starting to beat up our Dongxu like this. If we let him continue to stay in our courtyard, I'm afraid it will harm the others in our courtyard. It's uncertain whose daughter.in.law will be harmed by him one day. We have to drive this dog out of the yard. Then vacate their house for us. Just consider it as compensation for Dongxu's medical expenses. Otherwise, I will definitely put this dog in jail. At this point, Jia Zhang decided not to pretend. He kept clamoring to drive Li Xiangyang out of the courtyard and then occupy their house. At this moment, Yi Zhonghai naturally stands on the side of Jia Zhang. Holding a gentleman-like demeanor, he asked with a calm face. Li Xiangyang. Not only did you hit someone this time, but you also made a serious mistake in your lifestyle. You say it yourself. What are you planning to do? It has to be said that the title of Yi Zhonghai Moral Heavenly Sovereign is not for nothing. Even discerning people could tell that he was clearly on the side of the Jia family, trying to force Li Xiangyang out of the courtyard. But he didn't say those words himself. Instead, I want Li Xiangyang to speak up on his own. In this way, he won't fall behind in terms of population or anything. It has to be said that this old man has really taken the 4 words of righteousness and righteousness to the extreme. But just as the old man's words had just fallen. But suddenly there was a crisp slap in the face at the scene. Pop. Li Xiangyang slapped Yi Zhonghai hard and pulled out 5 finger marks on his face. He said disdainfully. Old thing. I'm wrong, Nima Gobi. This scene stunned everyone at the scene. Sleeping trough. Is Li Xiangyang crazy? He dares to beat even an old man. The force of that slap was really strong enough, probably knocked the old man out of his wits. After living in the courtyard for so many years, it's the first time I've seen someone dare to hit an old man. Li Xiangyang's life must be tough. I think Li Xiangyang must have been drinking pesticides and fooled his mind. How dare he take action against an old man? Hearing the voices of nearby residents talking, my mother, who had just been stunned by the slap, came to her senses now. Immediately shouted anxiously. Xiangyang. He's an old man. Stop it now. As the mother shouted, she stepped forward and grabbed Li Xiangyang's hand, afraid that he would make any bold moves again. At this moment, Yi Zhonghai was already stunned by Li Xiangyang's sudden slap. I only feel a slight numbness in the pain on the right side of my face. He never expected that a junior in the courtyard would dare to take action against him. If you don't give Li Xiangyang a good lesson today, how can he establish his authority as a master in this courtyard in the future? Little bastard. You're looking for death. Grandpa, Xiangyang. Old thing, the taste of that slap just now didn't feel good, did it? Even if I want to die, what can you do? Disagree. How about touching it? Faced with the threat from Yi Zhonghai, when my mother was about to say something good and beg for mercy, she was immediately pulled away by Li Xiangyang. Immediately, he looked at Yi Zhonghai with disdain. Words are full of provocative connotations. Li Xiangyang now is no longer the coward who was forced to drink pesticides and commit suicide before. He drank the gene-enhancing potion and integrated the 8 extremes fist technique. Even if these beasts in the courtyard are combined, they are not his opponents. The slap he just made and the words he's saying now are just to anger Yi Zhonghai. Now, he is waiting for Yi Laogo to take the initiative to attack him. At that time, he will let Yi Zhonghai know what is reason only within the range of a fist strike. But at this moment, a rogue-like voice sounded. Li Xiangyang. You little bastard has developed skills, haven't you? You dare to bully even an old man. This is not taking me, He Yuzhu, seriously. What's going on? Do you want me to teach you how to respect the elderly? Silly Zhu walked out of the crowd as he spoke. Although he is not yet Yi Zhonghai's first choice for retirement, their relationship is still good. Seeing Yi Zhonghai being bullied at this moment, he naturally felt a bit unhappy in his heart. Upon seeing this, Li Xiangyang immediately raised the corner of his mouth. Sneered. Silly pillar, don't think you're any amazing person. Actually, you are a dog of Yi Zhonghai. Over the years, whoever he lets you bite, you'll bite him. What do you call a dog over there now? This statement came out. The muscles on He Yuzhu's face immediately twitched twice. Little beast. Seeking death. Chapter 10. Ma Bao Turtle Man Jia Dongxu wants mom to hug. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He Yuzhu let out a furious shout, clenched his fist, and swung towards Li Xiangyang. The latter, upon seeing the situation, stood in place without any intention of evading. Little bastard, if I don't kill you today, I'll just give you my surname. At this moment, He Yuzhu's lips also showed a hint of pride. With all his years of fighting experience, he was confident that he would punch Li Xiangyang to the ground. At that time, he must teach Li Xiangyang a lesson in front of everyone. But at this moment, He Yuzhu, who was originally proud, suddenly opened his eyes wide at this moment. The expression on the face was first solemn, followed by a furrowed brow. Before he can react, Li Xiangyang's fist has already hit his face. Then he kicked him heavily in the chest. Just kick him out. Bomb! He Yuzhu flew out 7 or 8 meters away directly, and only fell off when he hit the wall of the courtyard. A mournful cry quickly echoed from the scene. Oh, oh, it hurts me so much. It hurts me so much. All of this happened too quickly, and the residents who were approaching the scene didn't react. He Yuzhu was kicked away by Li Xiangyang. Seeing the silly pillar lying on the ground, clutching his chest and howling, everyone at the scene was shocked. This isn't even Silly Zhu a match for Li Xiangyang. This is simply unbelievable, isn't it? It's the first time I've seen someone beat Silly Zhu to the ground so quickly. How could Li Xiangyang suddenly become so powerful? Why did Li Xiangyang suddenly feel like he had changed his personality? He was just 2 people from before. Did he pretend to be in our courtyard before? But how could that be? In this courtyard, He Yuzhu has always been a person with a strong personality since childhood, and no matter what he does, he likes to dominate others. He has always wanted to be the king of children in the courtyard since he was young. But at that time, he was a few years younger than Jia Dongxu and was not a match for him at all. So, we can only vent our anger on Su Damao, Lu Guangqi, and Yan Jicheng and others. Lu Guangqi and Yan Jicheng, each with 2 younger brothers, usually go out together with 3 brothers. So, Su Damao almost became the only target of He Yuzhu's actions in the courtyard. Every time Jia Dongxu bullies him or encounters something unpleasant, he deliberately goes to trouble Su Damao and beats him up. Over time, their relationship ended like this. Gradually, he felt like he was invincible in the entire courtyard. He even gave himself a nickname, called the Yuan Air Zhanshen. It is not an exaggeration to say that almost all the residents in the entire courtyard have been bullied by him using various cunning and harmful tactics, and have suffered losses in his hands. So after Yi Zhonghai became a master in the courtyard, he also intended to win him over and cultivate him into his own thug. If anyone in this courtyard dares to speak ill of Yi Zhonghai behind his back and do something that would shake his position as a master, Yi Zhonghai will instigate He Yuzhu to seek revenge in secret. So, when Li Xiangyang said in front of all the residents in the courtyard that he was a dog of Yi Zhonghai, he suddenly erupted in emotions and clenched his fists before hitting Li Xiangyang. Because in his heart, he doesn't think so at all. But even he himself didn't think of it. Li Xiangyang, who could even bully a useless person like Su Damao, kicked himself away with just 1 kick. He tried to get up from the ground, but with just 1 force. He felt as if his chest was about to be torn. The pain was unbearable. Oh! Isn't this the god of war in our courtyard? Why is it that after being kicked by Li Xiangyang, I can't get up anymore and lie on the ground? Silly Zhu, what's the difference between you and trash? Just then, Su Damao, who had just run out of the backyard to watch the excitement, came out. After witnessing He Yuzhu being kicked away by Li Xiangyang with his own eyes, he immediately ran over and began to mock loudly. Suddenly, there was a feeling of revenge. After all, he has been bullied by He Yuzhu for so many years in the courtyard. It's rare to see him collapse once. Don't take advantage of this moment to throw stones into the well and humiliate that bastard severely. I wonder when I'll have to wait for such a good opportunity again. Su Damao. Don't be proud, your grandson. Believe it or not, Grandpa, I'll get up now and kill you. He Yuzhu covered his chest and gritted his teeth, saying a harsh word to Su Damao. Being humiliated by such a useless person as Su Damao is something he absolutely cannot tolerate. Silly pillar, why are you so useless? Do you think I'm still afraid of you? Aren't you quite capable? If you have the ability, come and hit me, come and hit me. Su Damao is well versed in the principle of taking your life while you are sick. He swung his palm and slapped Hiyuzhu hard in the face a few times. He has been bullied by Hiyuzhu over the years. It's not something that can be solved with just a few slaps. Sleeping trough, Su Damao doesn't want to live anymore, does he? He's not afraid of foolishly getting up from the ground and really killing him. Lu Guangtian in the crowd couldn't help but worry and said. Lu Haizhong gave him a fierce glare. Murmured softly. When would you have the courage of Su Damao now? Your dad, I'm still feeling the cowardly anger of the silly pillar. At this moment in his heart amidst the bangs, he longed for Hiyuzhu to be beaten to death, the best. In this way, it is equivalent to Yi Zhonghai losing one fist. It would be much easier for him to become a master in the upper court. But at this moment. Suddenly, a scream came out from the scene. Ah! My legs! Upon hearing the sound, everyone immediately followed the sound and looked away. I only saw Zhang supporting Jia Dongxu, whose flesh and blood were blurred, trying to stand up from the ground. As a result, Jia Dongxu's 2 legs have undergone severe deformation from the knees. Or rather, Jia Dongxu's entire calf and knee bones have undergone serious misalignment. His leg is broken. After realizing that his leg was broken, Jia Dongxu immediately cried in pain. Mom! My leg is broken. What should we do now? How can I go to work in the factory in the future, and how can I walk? Mom! At this point, Jia Dongxu also fully utilized the attributes of his mother, Baogui, and male. She hugged Jia Zhang's neck with both hands and wept bitterly. A group of residents on site witnessed the situation. A worried expression appeared one after another, and then he turned his gaze to Li Xiangyang. Because Jia Dongxu's leg must have been broken by Li Xiangyang. This time, Li Xiangyang has caused a big trouble.